In this video, we're going to go over what's included in your Manta Efoil and go over first assembly so you can get foiling as soon as possible. The Manta Efoil comes with two carry cases, one for the board and the other for the eFoil, motor assembly, and accessories. The first steps to assembly is opening up the foil and motor assembly case. Grab the foil and center spar and slot them together. All bolts used in the assembly are M5 size, and the pre-included Allen wrench is the only tool needed for full assembly. Make sure the bolts are tightly snug for the front wing. Now we can move on to the rear wing. Again, same thing. Tighten those up, give them a nice snug fit. The foil is now fully assembled. We can go ahead and move on to grabbing the mast and the motor assembly out of our carry case. Note the phase wires and connectors coming out the top of the mast. For the next step, again, we're going to grab 4 of those M5 bolts, and we can now grab the mast and start feeding the phase wires through the center hole of the board. Check that the seal and the mast are flush with the board, and go ahead and start bolting it in. Just same as before, go ahead and use those M5 bolts and give it a firm hand tightening. You should have something that looks like this, and you're now ready for slotting and bolting in the foil to the center mast. Then screw in the 2 bolts to the mast. We can now flip our eFoil around and begin unscrewing the battery compartment. First, we're going to plug in the motor phase connector wires that we fed through earlier with the corresponding color, so green to green, red to red, black to black. Take note of the double O-rings on the connectors and make sure all the connectors are seated in firmly. We can now grab the battery and place it inside the battery compartment. Then grab the battery plug and plug it into the battery. Then turn on your battery with the button on the top of the battery. Notice the 5 LEDs indicating the rough charge state of the battery. We are now ready to close up the battery hatch, but first make sure there's a good seal by making sure there's no dust or debris. All the components are fully waterproof inside the battery compartment. This step is just making sure no water gets in, just for the board's buoyancy. Now that your eFoil is powered on, we can go ahead and grab the controller and go ahead and turn it on by holding the side button for a second. You'll see the controller screen turn on and your eFoil motor give you a beep letting you know it's connected. And with that final step, that concludes the assembly of your eFoil.